Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another tutorial of UK Textions. If you still not subscribe this channel, please subscribe this channel to get instant update. Today's topic is loop. What are loops in Java? So let me create a class of loops in Java. So I created this activity. I will perform loops here and will call this class in test statements. So let's begin. What are loops? So let me create a method over here that will says public loop in Java, and that's it, right? And let me int. I'm creating here a counter and will tell you what this counter will do, right? And in a string variable which says name equals to Khalid, and then the variable boolean variable is true, right? Equals to false, right? So there are three types of loops, which are for, while, and do while. What are they and how we can perform them? Loop. What is the definition of loop and how looping achieves? So the basic definition of looping is to control the flow of code execution by repeating set of statements. Sorry, I miss E here. Statements while condition remains true. Okay, so this means that loop will execute it unless the condition returns true. When condition returns false, the loop will exit. So I want to make this counter till 10. So I don't want to write here like system.out.print1, system.out.print2, system.out.print3. No, what I will do, so I will use loop till the counter value returns 10. After returning 10, the loop will exit. So let's start with for loop, right? I'm creating a method over here, private void start for loop. So I'm not giving any variable. So let's start with for loop. To execute for loop, we have to focus on three basic steps. First one, initialize a variable, right? Then modify that variable, same variable that is initialized, okay? And condition that will decide whether to break loop or continue, right? These are the three basic steps to create a loop. So to start with for loop, we have defined three conditions over here. Let me modify this statement and will print. What is the syntax of for loop? For, for, then start and end condition tag, then starting and ending tag of a statement. So we will define here the statement and we will define here the condition. So let's start with very basic step over here, written over here, initialize a variable. So let's say int I equals to 1. So we initialize a variable I with 1 and use terminator sign to terminate it here, right? We use 3 terminator over here to run the condition one by one, right? So we have to define condition over here. So I want to make I, the value of I equals to 10, and the value of I is now is 1. So I say if I will write where I is less than 10, the condition, but I want to make this 10. So I will say I will be less than equal to 10 if the value of I is less than or equal to 10. Do increment, right? I plus plus. To make it increment I plus plus means I equal plus 1, then the value of I will return true 2, then I plus 1, then it will return 3 because the value of I is now 2. Okay, so let me remove this, and under statement we will say system dot out dot println and print I. Let me call this a start loop. Okay, create the constructor and we'll show the result what it will display. Java looping, Java for loop. Okay, Java for loop equals to new for loop, Java loop, and that's it. So what it display? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and after 10 it just stop the loop. Okay, so what it returns? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. After returning 10, the loop exits. I want to break a condition at a point. If I is equals to 5, print this and break, else print these value. Okay, 5. So let's run it and see what will occur here. After fulfill this condition, loop exits, right? So let's start while loop, private void here start while loop, right? Okay, and the job of both loops for and while are same, but the syntax of while loop is different from for loop. So let's start. We have to initialize a variable on the top of while loop, then we will write while this we will define the condition over here, and I will define I will be greater and equals to 20, and then I have to, in while loop we initialize the variable on the top, we will define the condition inside the bracket, and we will modify the variable inside the statement variable, right? Plus plus I plus plus. So let me write because I have a small little space over here, so I will use system.out.print, not println. Okay, system.out.print, right, in one line. Okay, so I will write over here while I will just write I over here. So it will what it will do, let's see. I didn't call this method here, so let me call this method after this start while loop, and let's run it again. Okay, so what it displays over here is start while loop, and then 0 1 2 3 it display the numbers till it calls 20. And because we have initialized the value of I equals to 0, so it's included 0 over here, and then till 20 display these number, and then terminate the loop. So we have learned about for loop and while loop, and we have to learn about do while loop. Why do while loop is different from while loop, and why it is created? Because if the while statement's condition is true here, it will jump to this statement. If the condition false over here, so let me say if I is greater than equals to 20, it will return false and will execute, and will not execute a single line of code over here, and will print this message. Okay, so let me say this, if I is greater than equal to 20, so what it will display, it will display nothing then these lines. It will display start while loop, and it will say end while loop, and will return only maybe return it will return nothing over inside this tag, right? So let's see what it say. Start while loop and ends while loop, it return nothing. But in case of do while loop, what it will return, so let's say system dot out dot println start do while loop. Okay, so let's start with do while loop. We have created a variable I, so I don't want to initialize any other value. So what is the syntax of do while? Do, type do, then starting and ending tag, then write the statement over here, do system dot out dot print do is executed for first time, right? And then increment or modify our variable, and then we'll write the condition over here that will decide whether to continue this loop or end this loop. So I have to end this loop after. So we have created a statement over here and modify the variable over here and define the condition over here, which is this. Okay, so the I is greater than equal to 5, it will return true because the value of I is now 20, because we have terminated this loop, we have executed this loop before do while. So what I will do over here, I will initialize the I value equals to 0. I have write the condition over here, I is greater than equals to 5, because I have to show you that the system will print at least one time, rather the condition is true or false. So what it display, do is executed for first time. What is the value of I don't write over here, right? Sorry, I have to write over here, the value will return 0. Do is executed for first time and value is 0, right? So I have to create another do while loop over here, and will print system dot out dot println, and will say while is executed and value of I equals to, it will return several times, right? And I value of I, sorry, I have to concatenate the value here, and then we will type the condition over here that will less than equals to 5 over here, right? And terminate this, and I have forgotten to increment this variable, like, right? Okay. So we discuss about for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Our last loop is for each loop. But before going to for each loop, I will show you infinite loop, right? While loop will be infinite, for loop will be infinite, and do while loop will be infinite. Okay. Okay. So what it executed? It says for the first time do is executed 0, right? It's executed this loop over here, and then it's executed while loop, executed the value of I equals to 1, and the value returns to 5. Okay, so let me show you it. The loop will be infinite if I use over here minus minus decrement, right? So it's a responsibility of developer to make a condition that will return false at a certain stage, right? If I write this condition, it will never return false, and it will run infinitely or forever. So let me show you what will happen if I wrote this condition. It will execute several times. It's executing, it's not stopped anywhere, right, until I stop it from this. Replace it with plus plus. Okay, so I print a message over here, start for each loop. But before starting for each loop, we have to initialize an array. For each loop work with arrays, list, and collections, etc. To work with for each loop, we have to discuss little bit about. So I will discuss about arrays, list, etc. in my upcoming tutorials. What is array? To store one or more values with a unique index, right? So let's start with a string s. So a string array equals to new string, and that's it. It's shows an error over here. It's not, which is array initializer expected. So to store one or more value, we have to define over here how much value we have to store in this array, right? We have to store about 5 values, and the 5 values will be with different and unique index. So let me say at 0 index the value will be equals to u, right? On S1 index the value will be r. Okay, then S for third index the value will be O. For fourth index value will be O, and for fifth index the value will be fifth index the value will be equals to J. So we discuss a little bit about array over here to execute for each loop. So let's use for each loop. We will say string dot a colon store the value of a string. So string a colon s, right? And then we will start and end it. So what the condition says, store one by one the value of s in a, and while a return print this statement, string system dot out dot println dot value of a is whatever the value is, print it. What this condition says, we have to write same data type over here. I use string data type over here, and I have to use the string data type over here. The data type of array is string, right? Similar to this, and we have to store the value, or we have to fetch the value of s one by one in the string a. The loop will execute it till the values array will return its last index and set the value in a, right? So when it will finish, s array returns the last index. Okay, so let's run it and see what will occur. It display over here, the value of a is u, value of a is r, value of a is o, value of a is o, value of a is j. For instant update, do subscribe my channel, and if you like this video, please comment. So we have covered a topic of loop today: for each loop, for loop, while loop, do while loop. In our upcoming tutorials, we will discuss about arrays, a list, collections, and so on. If you like this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Also like our Facebook page. I will link the Facebook page in my description. Also stay connected, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. We will catch you later with our next tutorial. See you. Allah Hafiz. Also stay happy, healthy, connected. Also stay connected, stay healthy, stay happy. Have a happy new year. This year brings lots of happiness in your life, peace and success, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.